It's almost common knowledge that Doom 2016 was stuck in development hell for nearly a decade before the talented developers at id Software managed to pull together the critically acclaimed final product. But what most people don't know is that the first Doom movie has a similarly troubled past. Before the universally disliked big screen interpretation failed to satisfy fans in 2005, a more faithful film adaptation was set to release in the mid-90s. Although numerous rewrites and licensing issues resulted in the movie's cancellation despite the impressive amount of big names that were initially involved. The UK branch of PC Gamer magazine conducted an interview with id Software's former business manager Jay Wilbur in October of 1994, where Wilbur confirmed that a Doom movie was actively in the works. "I read somewhere that Hollywood has expressed an interest in Doom, too," stated PCG. "Oh, that's done," replied Wilbur. "Universal Studios has secured the rights of a movie, and Ivan Reitman, who did movies like Ghostbusters, is producing it. It's a big-budget movie." Wilbur went on to explain that an established group of veteran Hollywood producers going under the name Ethos Films approached id Software with a strong vision and the intent of helping them sell Doom's film rights. At one point, they received offers from Miramax Films, which at the time was owned by Disney and involved with heavy hitters like Hellraiser, Halloween, The Crow, and Scream, although Universal Studios would ultimately offer them a better deal. He ensured readers that id Software had complete control over the script and overall direction of the movie, which would hopefully allow them to create the perfect Doom adaptation instead of resulting in a monumental flop like 1993's Mario. When asked what he hoped to see in the final product, Wilbur replied, "I see Arnold with all of the Doom garb on, Industrial Light and Magic supplying the special effects, and the story would be something along the lines of Arnie stationed on Mars when the dimensional gateway opens and demons flood in." Outside of his aspirations for the film and assurance that they would be meeting with Universal only a few short weeks after the interview concluded, Jay Wilbur had very little to offer PCG due to how recently the deal had been inked, so the questions carried on without further mention of the film. id Software's initial meeting must have gone fairly well, as more information regarding the film surfaced almost a year later in September of 1995. Once again, Wilbur was the one relaying information to the public, this time reiterating that they were still directly involved and claiming that Ivan Reitman's Northern Lights Entertainment was in the process of revising the first draft of the movie script. News became scarce after late 1995 until a major update popped up in 1997 when the Ethos film producer Mo Lospinoso announced that both Universal Studios and Northern Lights no longer had rights to the film. It was now in the hands of TriStar Entertainment, who were in the process of developing a completely original screenplay despite rumors that it would be based on the Doom novel series. Practical effects designer Vincent Guastini was brought onto the project to create creatures for the film, and some images of his work are surprisingly still floating around today. One of his most impressive creations was a highly detailed spider Mastermind animatronic bust, which features a familiar yet unique take on one of the franchise's most iconic demons. Earlier interpretations of the Mastermind look like they've been ripped straight out of the game, although this prototype miniature was likely never intended to represent the final product. A small pinky sculpt can also be seen along with some nearly identical concept art that just goes to show how talented Vincent is. It isn't entirely clear which demon this is supposed to be, but a sculpt was made for either a Baron, Hell Knight, Cyberdemon, or something completely original. Concept art does exist for both the Baron and Cyberdemon, but the Baron looks nothing like the sculpt in the previous image. The overall lack of cybernetic enhancements does seem to suggest that it's something entirely different, although we'll likely never know. The final piece of unused concept art that I could find belongs to the iconic Mancubus, who I'm sure would have been just as deadly on the big screen as he is in the games. Mo Lospinoso continued to give periodic updates throughout 1998 and 99, eventually confirming that Todd McFarlane and his company had finalized a deal with Ethos Films in February of 1999. Only a few short months before the movie would be internally cancelled. Vincent Guastini later claimed that the project was shut down around April of 99 due to an ongoing controversy surrounding Doom at the time, although John Carmack stated that the movie's production failed after 2 script rejections and unspecified licensing issues doomed the project. While a new movie was eventually made when Warner Brothers picked up the rights in 2002 before passing them back to Universal shortly after, there was another cancelled 90s live-action Doom project that never got the chance to release. This image of a unique Cyberdemon costume has been floating around forums and social media for many years, and what a lot of people don't know is that this comes from a group of cancelled cutscenes that were originally supposed to be included in Doom's 3DO port. According to Hollywood special effects artist Chris Gilman, his company Global Effects was tasked with supplying the creature costume after signing on to help Art Data Interactive with the production of the scenes. Gilman's team created the suit by combining a pre-made body with a new head and gloves, resulting in the impressive yet inaccurate design featured in these photos. In a very recent interview with Time Extension, Gilman clarified that he's actually the unnamed man in the suit since it was designed only to fit his body. He would also explain that the ill-prepared set was located in an office building and that the small size and awkward positioning of the green screen resulted in the majority of the footage becoming completely unusable, something he warned them about before filming. Easily preventable mistakes seem to be pretty common throughout the development of Doom's 3DO port, as ArtData's overconfident CEO Randy Scott was under the unrealistic impression that the entire port could be made in less than 10 weeks, even with the introduction of a plotline and brand new cutscenes. ArtData purchased the rights to create a Doom console port without actually having a development team available, which led to Logicware employee Rebecca Hindman developing the entire port on her own in an incredibly short amount of time, despite originally being told that the port was almost completed and just needed some finishing touches. But that ended up being a total lie. Randy Scott had originally claimed that the port would feature new levels, enemies, and weapons, but the poor management of the project resulted in the cancellation of all additional features, including the cutscenes. Now, nearly 3 decades later, the skull of a Cyberdemon costume has been auctioned off to a collector, and the 3DO version is widely considered to be one of Doom's worst console ports. Practically every live-action Doom project, excluding the Fight Like Hell cinematic, has been unnecessarily problematic, and with a sequel to Doom Annihilation supposedly still in the works, it doesn't look like things will be getting much better. On the bright side of things, it looks like the next Doom game will feature crossplay, cross-progression, day 1 Game Pass access, and it likely won't be Xbox exclusive. Click on the video that's on screen now to learn more. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed it. That's pretty much all that I have for now though. Until next time.